Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Do you want to live a fearless life? Are you ready for a change in your mindset? Are you ready to overcome that feeling of fear that is holding you back to transform your life into something different? Are you ready to overcome the feeling of failure? Are you ready to overcome rejection? Are you ready to overcome overthinking? I know I am, and I know I was fearful. I know that fear had me so gripped that I wasted $300. Fear had me so gripped that I wasted opportunities to meet new people. Fear had me bound that I missed opportunities to grow. Welcome in again. Let's get into it. I want to share with you a few keys that will help you live a fearless life. All right. The first thing is I want you to understand what fear is. Fear is a natural feeling that is perceived as a threat. Anything that you're facing and you thinking that you cannot overcome it, or something that will, a situation that has arisen that will have you not accomplishing your goals, or situations that has arisen that you think you can't overcome, that's fear. You can overcome. God says we can overcome, right? He loves us so much that He's given us the ability to overcome in Him. He has given us strength in Him to overcome. All right, so that is fear. The first key was to understand what fear is. Fear is a natural response to perceived threats. Didn't say that it was a threat, it says your presumption. You are overthinking things, or you are thinking of negative outcomes. There is a perceived threat against your human nature. That is fear. Fear sometimes is a lie, right? Being fearful sometimes can cause you to miss opportunities, and also fear can cause a lot of stress due to overthinking. All right, and also fear is a good thing. It can protect you, but it also can limit you, especially in your growth, especially when you want to do something different in your life. Fear will hold you back, thinking a change won't work, thinking a change is not necessary. But you know deep down inside that a change is necessary and that it's time to do something different. There are common fears, right? So the common fears that you may be facing, you may be fearful of failure. You may be fearful of public speaking. You may be fearful of stepping out of your comfort zone, such as myself. I am so fearful that this YouTube channel won't work. And I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel two, no, maybe 3 years ago. I wanted to start a YouTube channel, but I was so afraid of rejection. I was so afraid of no one watching or no one tuning in. And you may want to start a YouTube channel. You may want to start a Facebook uh, group, or Instagram page. And sometimes that fear of failure will hold you back. But we're gonna overcome that feeling of feeling afraid, right? Of feeling fear. Okay. All right. So the first thing you want to do is you want to understand what fear is, and the second thing is you must acknowledge your fears. I am acknowledging my fear. You may be acknowledging your fear by starting your own YouTube channel and uploading videos. You may be fearful of public speaking, and the only way you're going to overcome the fear of public speaking is you're going to have to talk more in front of smart groups in your community, even in your home, even if you decided to have monthly meetings with your family and you may be the one that's going to open up in prayer, or you may be the one that's going to host the meeting. So that will help with public speaking, right? So we're going to take a moment and you're going to write down what are what are you afraid of? Like what fears is holding you back? You want to write it down. The moment you write it down is the moment you are acknowledging it on paper, and you are acknowledging it out loud, because you're going to read it out loud, and you're also going to read it silently to yourself, to just remind yourself that I'm fearful of these things. Maybe you have a fear of um failure. You want to write that down as well. Right? So you're going to write it down, and then you're going to, after you write it down, you're going to reframe your thoughts. You're going to ask yourself, what is the worst thing that will happen if I start speaking more in public? What is the worst thing that will happen if I start a YouTube channel? What is the worst thing that will happen if um, I start a new business and it does, and you may think that it doesn't work? So you want to also write those things. You also want to write down the worst scenario. Again, when we're fearful, we overthink. Trust me, we overthink. So when you are writing those things down that you're afraid of, you want to write the worst scenario that could happen. And then on another sheet of paper, you're going to write down the things that you're afraid of. And then you're going to write down what's the best thing that could happen. Okay? So, 9 times out of 10, when we are afraid of things or fearful of certain of events that will that will happen in our life, when we're overcoming our fears, is we sometimes have unrealistic expectations. So that's why you're going to, on one sheet of paper, write down the worst thing. Then on another sheet of paper, you're going to write down the best outcome of the situation. All right. All right. So then the next step is you're going to have to change your mindset. Right. So that's why we have the two sheets of paper. One is for the negative. The second is for the positive events. We have to change our mindset, all right? We have to shift our perspective. Remember, fear is is always a presumption of a threat or a presumption of danger. Sometimes it is correct, and then sometimes it's not. So instead of um, thinking that fear is a bad thing, we're going to think that fear is a positive. Fear is something that we're going to use to help build growth in us. So you're going to so instead of viewing fear as a barrier, you're going to see fear as a signal that you're about to grow, you're about to change, right? Fear often is an indication that you're on the verge of something new or something different. Just like on that second sheet of paper that you're writing down the positive outcome, we're going to change our mindset that we can overcome fear. All right. And then after you did that, after you wrote those things down, after you wrote those things down, you're going to do positive affirmations. So positive affirmations is saying, I'm not afraid to speak in public. I will not fail. I am an overcomer. I can handle this. And when you say those positive affirmations, those phrases, you're going to boost your inner self-esteem, which is going to help conquer that fear. So those are the things that you'll have to do to help you overcome fear and live a fearless life. All right. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Oh, and before I want to add one more thing. The last bonus key point you're going to do is you're going to start small and then you're going to gradually take larger steps. So you're going to start small by facing your fears is by if you have trouble with if you're afraid of public speaking, you're going to book small engagements. After you reframe your thoughts and you ask yourself what's the worst thing and what's the best thing that would happen as the outcome of you of the fears that you may be facing, you're going to have to change your mindset. You're going to have to shift your mindset. You're going to have to rewind, change the way you think by thinking that fear is a barrier, which is not. Fear is an indication that you are doing something new, that something new is going to happen. All right? Yes, something new is going to happen. And while you are on that new mindset of thinking that positive things will happen, when you face your fears, you're going to have to do positive affirmations. Positive affirmations is pretty much it's going to counter those negative thoughts. It's going to counteract those negative things that we think will happen by saying I will overcome, or I am a great speaker, or no, I'm not a failure. And if you did fail, yes, I may have failed at this, but I'm also growing and I will overcome that setback, or I am I am great at what I do, or if you're thinking about starting a business, my business will be great. So when you set aside time to say those positive affirmations, it's going to help change inside. It's going to help push the fear down and out, where you are totally in a positive mindset and you'll be ready to overcome your fears. All right. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and see you in the next one. Take care.